Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm excited to share our couple's getaway on board Carnival Mardi Gras for 7 days and 6-night cruise with port stops at San Juan, Puerto Rico, Amber, Cove, Dominican Republic, and Grand Turk in the Turks and Caicos. Stay tuned. So let's get into it. So we began our journey by flying into Orlando, Florida, and stayed at the Marriott that offered a free shuttle to the hotel from the airport. And let me tell you, this hotel and the surroundings were beautiful. The hotel room was around $250 a night, but it was well worth it with all the amenities that it offered, like a few restaurants on site, which we ate at and enjoyed it. The hotel also had indoor and outdoor pool, and it was also in walking distance of shops like Marshall's, convenience stores, and other restaurants as well. It wasn't too bad. The next morning, we Ubered to the Port Canaveral, and it took us about 50 minutes, and the cost was about $90 total one way, but we actually split it between the couple, so it was pretty reasonable. Embarkation was easy and smooth. We were on the ship within 30 minutes of our check-in time. That included us stopping at guest services to load cash on our sign and sell card instead of attaching our credit or debit card, because the cruise line actually places holds on those. So once we checked into our muster station, it took all about 5 minutes to check us in, and we were off to explore the ship and get something to eat, which of course we stopped at Shack's Big Chicken. Once we were done eating, we went to the Fortune Teller bar. I believe that's what it's called, and I ordered what I call the crystal ball drink. I'm sure that's probably not the real name, but it was delicious. It's definitely a must try if you're selling on Mardi Gras. But Mardi Gras also has these huge windows that turn into screens in the main lobby or atrium. And that night they had a show called Rock Revolution that was pretty good. But the only thing that I would suggest or recommend is that Carnival put the productions back into the theater, because while the show was going on, there were so many distractions. People were walking, they were talking in the halls, so you could really hear everything that was going on out there instead of focusing on the stage show. After the show, we ended up in the nightclub, which I believe is held in Liquid Lounge, and they were playing all the old school jams. We really enjoyed ourselves. It wasn't overly crowded. We actually had an awesome time. So the next day was a sea day, but the highlight of the day was actually eating at Emerald's Bistro. I used to watch this show a long time ago. It is an upcharge, but it's so affordable. I think none of the entrees are over like $10, and they actually give you big portions. We had the gumbo, shrimp po' boy, and we also ordered the beignets, which I did not record, but they actually went fast because that was so good. The beignets were fantastic. Once we arrived in San Juan, we actually got off the ship about 11 because we stayed up that night. So we didn't go to bed till about 3 a.m. So we got off the ship about 11 a.m. and it was so hot, about 90 degrees in San Juan when we arrived. We didn't book an excursion for any of our ports that we were going to. So we ended up walking, and we ran into my favorite place, Senior Frog. And like I said in the previous video, if you watched it, Senior Frog is one of our stops, favorite of ours. We like to sit and eat and have a few drinks and just have a party. They do have an MC, and he plays games for shots. They play great music, and it's a great time to make memories with your family or friends. Now, on this next port that we went to, it was my all-time favorite port ever, and that was actually Amber Cove in the DR, Dominican Republic. Everything you need is at the port. You literally do not have to book any excursion to have a good time at this port. This port had a pool, water slide, and a zip line. So we decided to go ahead and do the zip line, which was my first time trying it. It was scary, but it was also really fun. We walked up the hill, never leaving the port, but that hill, you need to wear some comfortable shoes and some comfortable clothes because it's hot, and the hill that you walk up is not level. So I would suggest you wear some comfortable shoes. But once we reached the top of the hill, the views were absolutely gorgeous. It was definitely well worth it. I almost passed out getting to the top of the hill, but that's all right. I made it. We actually paid cash for the zip line, which I highly recommend using your debit card or credit card. It's very risky when you're in another country, but I looked online before I took the trip, and it was an all-day pass for about $20. But when we actually went to pay, the price had actually increased by $5, so it was about $25 for the same price. And it's an all-day pass as long as you're at the port. But just take extra money just in case. You also have to reserve a locker, which I didn't know before I went. But they want you to reserve it with a credit card, but I wasn't about to do that. So I said, they said they could hold our sign and sell card. And it was about $7 with the sign and sell card, just to make sure you bring their key back for the locker, which my stuff, I need it back anyway. So of course I'm going to bring the key back for the locker. That was a little fishy to me, but that's okay. But I must say it was fun. If you're in not so decent shape, do not do this excursion, as once we went down the hill, we did the zip line. You have to walk back with a harness on you, and that takes a minute to walk up. We did it about 3 times and we were tapped out. So after that, we walked around the port, did some shopping, took some pictures, and it was time to board the ship by that time. So that night, we went to the Love and Marriage show, which was a ball. They usually pick a newlywed couple, a couple who's been together about 15 to 20 years, and then a couple that's longer than that, which in the audience, they had a couple that was married for about 60 plus years. And when I tell you, they were so in sync with all the answers, it was a beautiful thing. And the bonus was that they gave the glory to God for being together. It was amazing. They asked them what kept them together. They said God. So I really appreciated that show. Our last port was in Grand Turk, which we have been there before. And it is one of our least favorite ports, only because there's not much to do, unless you just want to lay on the beach and hang out in the water. But it was still beautiful. But I suggest you look for an excursion if you want other options than just a beach day. We actually got back on the ship after about an hour, and we actually hung out at the water slide, in which that was more fun than us just being at the beach. But we had a good time on the water slides. It's not just for kids. We actually went and had a good time. They have like the little boogie boards that you can go down a slide with. So it was really fun. There was so much to do on this sailing. I didn't record it all, but we did go to the steakhouse, which is called Fahrenheit 555. And I had my favorite drink there, which was the watermelon Martini. And if you haven't seen my short on that, I'll leave a link in the description for you to click on. We also ate at the Seafood Shack for lunch, which was also one of my favorites. It's not included in the fare, but it is well worth it if you are a seafood lover. They have crabs, shrimp, oysters, I believe. It's really good. We ate in the main dining room most nights, and the food was nothing to write home about, but it did the job. It was decent. Warm when it came to the table, so it'll fulfill your needs for the time. I would recommend this sailing and the ship because we had so much fun. We had enough time to do everything we wanted and not feel rushed. If you want to book this cruise, you can go to my new website or email me and I'll get you all set up. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.